Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing my favorite baby names that I will not be using. I love watching this trend to come up with baby names myself, so I thought it would be fun to share some names that I love. Most of these names I would use, but my husband is totally opposed to. I feel like this is a common theme, especially talking to my friends and family, but I feel like my husband is much pickier about names than I am. So I feel like I could go through a list of like 100 names and he'd say maybe to like one. And then I'm also going to be sharing my favorite tip for finding baby names. I like baby names that are like old and like vintagey and like grandma vibes, but also like real names. Like I've said before, like I don't want to name my baby like Plant. I want like a name that's like stood the test of time. Another distinction for me with baby names, I want my boys' names to be distinctly boy and masculine, and then I want my girl names to be distinctly feminine and beautiful. So let's start with some of the boy names. So for my first name, I really like the name Fletcher. My husband has said no to this one because it sounds like phlegm, which I see his point, but I still think it's a really cute boy name. Next is Lincoln. I really like this name, but my husband doesn't really like Abraham Lincoln, and I think he also just doesn't like the name. So there's that. I like Johnny, but my husband did not like that one. I really like Cash, which I'm sure you can see the trend that's happening here. Because yeah, I love like Johnny Cash. I love Elvis. Next I have Elvis. So that one is kind of, feels a little silly. Elvis was one of my top baby names when we first got married. And it's partially because I love Ellen Fisher and her oldest boy was named Elvis, and I just thought it was the cutest thing in the world. But I don't know. Like with her, when I think of her Elvis, I just think of it as him. But when I think about us naming a baby Elvis, I feel like, yeah, I just picture Elvis Presley. So next, I like the name Everett. My husband's just not a fan. I feel like, I don't know if I need to say that for every name, but for most of these, my husband's just not a fan. Some of the names, actually, I don't know if I put any on here, but there are a lot of names that I love that are like names my friends at church have used, so that's like partially why I don't have them. Next is Bridger. I just think that's a cute name for a boy, Bridger. I have learned that me and my husband unintentionally gravitate towards names that end in ER. So maybe I should tell you my kids' names if you don't know them. My oldest is a girl and her name is Florence. And then the rest are boys and they're Wilder, Thatcher, Draper, and Sadler. So all the boys' names end in ER, and we did not do that on purpose. We just, I guess, gravitate towards names that end in ER. So I have a couple on here. So Bridger, I like that name. Cutler, I like that name. Another F name, I like Forrest. I also like Franklin. And Franklin, I feel like, is one of those names that sounds like a really common name, but when you think about it, like how many young Franklins do you know? You know? I also like the name Lennon for a boy, like kind of spelled John Lennon. I'm not saying I love John Lennon, but I do think Lennon is nice. And then Graham, that's my last boy name. I like Graham. So yeah, none of these names I'll ever be using because my husband doesn't like any of them, but I think they're cute. I'm still like, man, maybe I should try to convince him into Elvis. I don't know. Also, what I like to do to test out names is obviously, you know, what you would do when you were like a younger girl and you just like write the name with your last name, like Elvis Turner, and see how it looks and sounds. But then I also go, Elvis, Elvis, or I'll go, Elvis, come here right now. Just kidding. Okay. Next is girl names. I feel like I have a lot more girl names than I do boy names. I'm just gonna start with one of my like all-time favorite girl names that my husband doesn't even give like half a second of thought towards. He's just like, no. But I love it, and that's Birdie. I think Birdie is so cute. And I also used to like be obsessed with the singer Birdie. But yeah, I just think Birdie is such a cute name. I don't know. But my husband says no. Next, I love the name Marigold, and you could call her Goldie. I feel like that one's becoming more and more popular as time goes on. Because I like unique names, I feel like I don't really like gravitate towards tons of Bible names because I feel like a lot of them are used quite often. One that I feel like isn't is Esther. I really like Esther, but my husband does not like the name Esther, so sad. Another name I love for girls is Etta. And you know, you could do this as a hyphenated name, kind of like Etta James. I've thought about Etta Jane. So like Etta Jane or Etta May, just like Etta anything I think would be really cute. I like the name Elowin and calling her Winnie. I like the name Oakley, and this is one that me and my husband have actually strongly considered before because we thought it'd be cute as like Annie Oakley. Like it's like a fun person in history to be named after. But I think we just decided it's not like feminine enough for us. But I do really like it. Next, I have Sylvia. You could call her Sylvie. That's cute. I really like the name Louisa. I don't know, I feel like you don't really hear of many Louisas these days. I immediately think of like Louisa from The Sound of Music, but I just think that's a really cute name. Along with like F names, I really like the name Flora, which obviously is like so close to Florence, so I could never use it. I'm just drawn to names that start with the letter F. Next is Faye. And this is one I don't think I'd use as a first name because I feel like by itself it's not that feminine, but I would definitely use it as like a middle name. It's actually one of my aunt's names, and my dad always describes her as like the kindest human that ever existed, so it's a good person to name your kids after. I also like the name Penelope. I think that's cute. That was one that was always on my mom's list. And then as a kid, it kind of went on to my list. But I do think Penelope is really cute. The next name I have is Lottie. And that's an example of a name that I love, but someone from our church has used it, so I wouldn't use it. Especially Lottie is such a unique name. I feel like it'd be like, if there's two Lotties, it would really stand out. But I just think it's such a cute name. Another name I love, absolutely love, is Evelyn, and it's actually my middle name after my great-grandmother. So I always planned on using the name Evelyn, but then the year that I got pregnant with my daughter Florence, I like looked up on the Social Security Administration website the name Evelyn, and it said it was like one of the top 5 names. And like I said, I want like unique names. Like I don't want my daughter to be like one of 10 Evelyns in her class. But at the same time, I don't think I've met any Evelyns, so I'm like, how accurate is this website? But I do love the name Evelyn. Man, maybe I should consider it. It's so pretty. And then my last name for a girl is Minnie. It's one of those things that like, as a kid, you probably mostly attribute it to Minnie Mouse. But then as you get older and you like compartmentalize that, it's a really cute name. So Minnie is another one that I love. Okay, so that is all of the names I have on the list. Now I'm going to show you one of my favorite ways that I like to find unique and like vintagey baby names. So basically what I do is I search Social Security Administration names, and then this screen will pop up. I'll put it on the screen. What I like to do to get inspiration is I choose decade, and then for decade I choose the oldest decade there is. So I choose the 1880s. It'll show you the most popular male names and female names from the 1880s. And I just kind of like scroll through the list and get inspiration that way. And sometimes I'll go like way down, like this one has 200 names on it. But like at the very end of the list is Flossie for a girl, Adeline, Harriet, Myra, Lois, Winnie. There's Lucille, Birdie, Tilly, Loretta, Jean. I think Jean's really cute. I think that would be like a cute hyphenated name, like Etta Jean. I don't know. And then for boys, there's Wiley, Ollie, Curtis, Cleveland, Harley, Rudolph, Irving. So yeah, this is just one of my favorite ways to come up with name inspiration from the 1880s. Another thing I'll do is I'll look at the change in popularity of names. So for example, when I was choosing the name Thatcher, I just looked up the name Thatcher to see, was it super popular at some point? Is it super popular now? It shows you like the change in popularity over the decades. So yeah, I looked up Thatcher, and you can see that the rank for 2022 was 966. So that's a very like low ranking, which means it's like very uncommon. The smaller number it has, the more popular it is. So I remember when I was like looking at baby names, I wanted everything to be like over 500, which now I feel like is kind of silly because like even some of the top 10 names, I don't really know anyone with those names, but still. And also names can like become super popular super fast too. But it is like an interesting thing to look at. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it gave you some cute baby name ideas, and I hope you check out the Social Security Administration website. Someone's asked me recently if it costs money, and no, it's just totally free. You can just go peruse. I think the last year, I just looked for Thatcher, the last year it was updated was 2022, so I don't know why it hasn't been updated since. And then the popular baby name list wasn't updated since like 2024. So I don't know why that is, but I do still think it's a fun, helpful tool for finding cute baby names. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I post videos every Tuesday and Thursday. I'll see you in the next one.